Good morning everybody, it's Lisa Tilson here today for Picket Fence Studios, and I'm here to share the November 2021 release with you. So like I've done in previous videos, I'm going to take you through all of the products individually, and I'm going to show you the cards that I created with them, and I'm also going to share some inspiration from the design team as I go through the videos. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start off by showing you the new mini slimline double stitched rectangles die cutting system. Now you may remember, if you were watching last month's video, that Picket Fence Studios came out with this set of dies. So these are also mini slimline dies, but these have stitched and scalloped detail on them, plus you got the word dies as well. And with this new die cutting system, you've got two rectangles here again with the double stitched line detail. You've got a couple of word dies. One of those is hello there, this one is hooray here. Plus you've also got a little die here which has clouds and two trees, so you can use these dies when you're creating any kind of scene card. And you can of course use some of your normal slimline products in conjunction with these dies. I've got the palm trees insert here. So this is part of the slimline die cutting system, one of the many inserts that you can get. And as you can see, if I pop it across there, I know I've got the other words in behind, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but you can use these on a mini slimline as well. If you positioned that there, it would fit really well. You can also fit two of these top to bottom or side to side, however you decide to orientate your cards. So don't forget that you can use these as well with this system. Okay, so this is the first of these three stencils that I've got to share with you. This one is the Slimline Plumeria Flowers stencil. It has a 6x6 version as well, and I've got a card coming up with that next. But I absolutely love this stencil. You've got these three bold, big bold flowers here, and obviously you've got the leaves around it, and I just love the amount of wide kind of open areas that you've got. Looks fantastic with your paper glaze, and also looks fantastic with simple ink blending. So here's the first of my cards for this month. I've gone with the mini slimline format, and I've used the double stitched rectangle in this new set for my panel. And I have also used the hello there word die, and I stacked that up. There are three, I think, on my card. I will have details of all of my cards over on my blog in the coming few days, so you can check out the details there. But I stacked up three layers of the die cut, and I used some tropical colours with the Slimline Plumeria Flowers stencil, and you can see how beautiful that stencil is. I think this is so striking, and I wanted to go with something bold and happy, so I went with those colours. Now it's really difficult to see here. I've had to pull my blind down because it's so bright in here this morning, but I have splattered some paper glitz sparkle onto the background, and I can't show you, it's a little bit too difficult to show you in the light here, but when you tilt it into the light, it is so pretty. It really is absolutely lovely. And I added some iridescent moonshine sequins onto the panel as well. So that's my first card. Now it's time for some cards from the team. This first one here is from Amanda. She's used that scene building die from the set. She's created her trees as a silhouette in her background. It looks like she's used some navy wingtips paper glitz for her sky, and she's completed her card with those adorable little bunnies in the foreground. This card is from Larissa. She's also used the scene building die and she's created her trees in green and brown. But look how she's used the cloud die. She's used it as bushes on the ground and she's paired her whole scene with the forest critters stopping by to say hey set, which was released a few months ago. This card here from Sandy uses the word die from that new mini slimline die set. She has paired it with the mailbox from Mails here, the raining envelopes background stamp, and also a sequin mix plus mix that I'm going to be showing you a little later on called Snail Mail. Next up is the 6x6 version of the Plumerias Flowers stencil. Again, you've got the 3 bold flowers, you've got the leaves around the outer edge and plenty of space for you to show off whatever medium you decide to use when you create with this stencil. And this is the card that I made with that stencil. So I did some Distress Oxide blending, cut my panel off at an angle. I added a strip of paper glitz snowdrifts just to sort of separate those areas out, I guess. And this is Lexi Girl. I thought she would work really well on this card. And I have also used the Love Your Word die. Both Lexi and the Word die were previously released and have been out for some time, but I thought they went quite well on this format. And again, I just love that background. I think it is such a striking background. So that is my second card for you. And I've also used a couple of the new Sequin Mix Plus mixes on this card here. Just above the tail of the I've got a tiny little heart there. That is from the new I Heart Male Sequin Mix Plus, which is this one here. And I'm going to show you these in a bit more detail later in the video. I've got some close-ups for you. And then I've just put 3 sequins here. Again, it's difficult to see in the light, but I've just put a few round Lexi, and they are from the Snail Mail Sequin Mix Plus mix, which is this one here. So you'll see those in a little bit more detail later on. Okay, so next up is the third and final stencil from this month's release. This is the Slimline Blending Roses stencil. So absolutely beautiful. I mean, I always love my stencils. So I did make a card with this one, and this is the card that I made. So it's a very simple card, but I did something a little bit different for me. I don't normally cut out a stenciled image, but I thought it would look really nice popped up, and I've just mounted it up. This sentiment here is from Seriously Literally, which has been out for a while, and that sentiment there seemed to fit the theme of the rose, and it also fit perfectly in that little space on the top left. And these sequins here are the shark bite sequins, which again have been out for a little while. So that is my third card for this month. Next up, we've got this gorgeous wreath stamp here. This is a wreath for all seasons. You really can use this all year round. So I absolutely love this stamp, one of my favourite items from this month's release. You could colour it in spring, summer, fall, or Christmas colours, whatever you decide to do. And you've got this right angle here, so it makes it really easy to line up from the corner of your panel. And I did make a card with this stamp, but I decided to go with a tone on tone look, not something I do very often. But here is the card that I made. So I decided to do a little bit of pencil colouring on this card. I rarely grab my pencils, mostly because they're time consuming to colour with them, so they're not my go-to medium. But I did think with the style of the stamp and the fact that these are actually quite small areas to colour, that it would work well for the pencils. So I used a very limited palette, just a few blues and turquoisey aquas, and I set about colouring it. Probably didn't take longer than half an hour. So really like how it turned out. I like the tone on tone effect, and it is heat embossed as well, the image, so you have got a little bit of shine as well. And this sentiment here is from a previously released set. This is from Tropical Hibiscus Bouquet. Next up, we've got the Geo Label cover plate die. I think this is a fantastic die. I think it would be a really good staple product to have in your stash, because it's got all these little triangles, and of course it makes for a really interesting background. Or even if you die cut it in white cardstock, it would just add a lot of subtle interest on a white card base. So I think it's a really good die. You can of course put a sentiment in this area here. You could have the smaller triangles at the top or at the bottom. So there really is a lot that you can do with this die, and I did make a card with it. And here is the card that I made with that cover plate die. I took a panel of lime Christmas green paper glitz that I had created. So I just covered an entire panel with that paper glitz, let it dry, and then I die cut it out with the die. As you can see, you still get all that lovely white space, well, that I love so much, but you've got lots of sparkle with the paper glitz as well. So this is a Christmas flower that came out a few months ago, and the sentiment is from Fancy Christmas Sentiments. Okay, so here we have Iconic Beauty Kiara. You may remember from last month's release there was a stamp called Iconic Beauty Sarah, which was another beautiful stamp. This month you've got Kiara. You've got 3 sentiments in the set. You are talented, you are kind, you are loved is one of them. So these is really good for encouragement cards. And you've got this one here which says, if only our eyes saw souls instead of bodies, how very different our ideals of beauty would be. So that's a really beautiful stamp set, and some great examples from the team coming up with that set. This first sample from Daniel shows how striking it can be when you just stamp the image onto some what looks like pearlescent cardstock. I'm not 100% sure, but she looks very striking on that background, and Daniel has kicked the card up a notch by adding that fabulous sentiment, which is coming up a little bit later on, and he has heat embossed that in gold. The next card is from Elena. Elena has taken Kiara and stamped her in black over a coloured background. I think it looks so pretty, the way the colours transition through that stamped image. Elena has also used one of the sentiments from the set to complete her card. This card here is from Rochelle. Rochelle has stamped Kiara and done some no-line colouring on her. Her colouring is amazing, and I think this looks absolutely beautiful against that gorgeous bright blue background. We've got 2 sentiment stamps for you this month. This top one here is a friendly paper hello. This would make a really good focal point on a card. You wouldn't even need to use anything else with that, because the hello is obviously quite large and bold as well. So this one here at the bottom is called Hugs Enclosed. I'm not sure how I haven't used any of these on a card this month, but I have got some samples coming up with both of them. This first example is from Erica. Erica has taken that sentiment and used it as a focal point on her card. She stamped and heat embossed it on vellum and then wrapped that vellum piece around a panel which has been created with paper glitz in all the rainbow colours. The next card is from Sarah. Sarah has used both of the new sentiment sets. She created a shaker card with her adorable little critters and using the new friendly paper hello stamp, but she has paired that card with a matching envelope where she stamped and coloured another image, and she used one of the sentiments from the Hugs Enclosed set. This sample here is from Karen. Karen created a mini slimline card using the new die set. She has also used the new slimline blending roses stencil, but Karen has completed her shaker card with one of the sentiments from Hugs Enclosed. And one last example using one of the new sentiment sets. This one here is from Michelle. She has paired the Hugs Enclosed sentiment with the Plumeria flowers stencil to create this lovely, clean and simple card. We're almost at the end of the release now, but I have Aquarius Girl to share with you. This is another one in the line of the Zodiac Girls. She does come with a coordinating die, and there is the word die there, which is Aquarius. And I have made a card with this set. And this is how she looks on an A2 card. So I've just coloured her with Copics, cut her with the coordinating die, and she's been mounted up onto a watercoloured panel and with the netting cover plate in between. So I have added some bubbles at the bottom there for a little bit more interest. You can see them there if I hold it up. They are from A Bottomless Sea, which has been out for a couple of years now, perhaps even 3 years, but I thought that would add a little bit of extra interest at the bottom. And the Aquarius here has been die cut from a panel of white cardstock that I had coated with fall gold paper glitz. So that is Aquarius. And last but not least, you've got the Always Word topper die here. There is one new gem mix this month, and there are 4 sequin mix plus mixes, and I'm going to show you those and a few examples from the team in a moment. So that brings us to the end of the actual products, but stay tuned for those other examples. The first card here is from Julia. Julia has taken the Always Word topper die and she has cut it from gold cardstock and paired it with a wreath for all seasons, which has been gold heat embossed over a beautiful pink background. So now we're going to take a closer look at the gem and sequin mixes from this release. This first mix is a gem mix called Celebration. It's got lots of beautiful pink, purple and silver gems of differing sizes in it. It is a really, really pretty mix. This card here from Erica uses the Celebration gem mix. Erica's used lots of the different colours and sizes on her card, which she's created with Aquarius Girl as her focal point. But if you look carefully, you'll see that some of the silver gems from the mix have been used as her earrings. This next mix is a sequin mix plus and it's called Crafty Friends. It has lots of white and silver, and I've got a sample coming up in a moment, but you've got some tiny little silver scissors in this mix. So cute. This card here is from Karen. Karen has made a shaker card containing the Crafty Friends Sequin Mix Plus, and you can see here from the close-up photo how cute those little silver scissors are. So much fun. This next one is the I Heart Male Sequin Mix Plus. Lots of gorgeous blue sequins, sort of aquas and blues, and you've got those tiny little pink and aqua hearts in there too. This card here from Larissa uses lots of those aqua hearts from that sequin mix. Larissa has paired hers with Aquarius Girl, the Geo label cover plate, and also the Hugs Enclosed sentiment. This next mix is called On a Wing, and it is a sequin mix plus. It has some beautiful little clay feathers in it, along with the white, blue and silver sequins. So gorgeous. And the final mix is called Snail Mail. It has lots of clear white, red and black sequins, along with some adorable little clay envelopes. And I do have a card to show you with this mix. And this is the final card that I'm going to share with you today. This is from Elena. She has used 3 of those tiny little envelopes to accent her sentiment. She has also used the Blending Roses stencil and the Hugs Enclosed sentiment. And that brings me to the end of the video for this month's release. I do hope that you've enjoyed seeing the walkthrough of all the products and also the inspiration from the design team and myself. I will be back next month with another release video for you. In the meantime, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.